Hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of the Hello, Hello podcast. I am your host, Alyssa Rogers. And today we are in the studio in South Boston at Rogers Heating and Cooling with an amazing person, Danielle Jopko. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being here. We have been talking a little bit before we started recording, and it's like one of those, you're one of those people that I sit down with and I just want to start talking and getting to know immediately. And I had to hold myself back. 'Cause I'm like, we have to record this. Like, there's too much good stuff that we're talking about to not record. So I really appreciate you being here with me today. I'm excited to get to know you and have everyone else get to know you, because you said, like, you've been through some stuff.
Yeah.
And you are a business owner, and it can be hard. And so tell us about yourself and your business.
Sure. Well, first, thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
So a little bit about me. I am originally from Northeastern Ohio. I moved to North Carolina about 23 years ago. My mom was transferred for work. So that's how I came to the South, and I absolutely love the South.
Mm-hmm.
I call it home more so than Ohio these days. But I have a 17-year-old son that's the love of my life, a little dog, and I'm engaged. Yeah. And about 8 years ago, I had this crazy idea of starting a business while working full time. I don't know if I would recommend it to people, but I did it. I survived, and I'm a little wiser from all the experience I've gained from it.
Yeah. And so you started a business while working full time. What were you doing? What was your full-time job when you started the business?
So at the time, I was working for a healthcare system in North Carolina, Cone Health, and I was in the human resources department. Mm-hmm. So prior to working in HR, I was a paralegal, and I did that for 14 years. And that's really where I honed my project management craft. And then going into healthcare, it showed me the human side of business. Mm-hmm. On top of that, I had this misconception that hospitals were run by a bunch of doctors and nurses. And boy, was I wrong. It's the business of healthcare for a reason. But that showed me the attachment to your work and how it can impact people, not just inwardly, but outwardly in the community. And then being in HR, it really allowed me to hone my creative skills.
Yeah. And so you're in HR, you're working for healthcare, and then you say you decide to start a business. What spurred you to say, I'm going to do this? And what kind of business did you start?
Mm-hmm. There's so many ways that I can answer that question. So I'm sure a lot can relate to this. I went the non-traditional route for my adult life.
Sure.
So I had my child, single parent, abuse, all that stuff.
I'm sorry.
So it's okay. It's part of the story. And I went to college, online school, after I had my son because I wanted to get my bachelor's. So I did that. And I've never been able to really get a promotion because you're competing against these other people that came out of college in their early 20s. And here I am in my mid 30s, just really taking off in my career. And I fought really hard. I started from the ground up with all of my skills. And then I get to the hospital and I was working as an administrative assistant, but my job didn't match my title. And they saw the potential in me, but I also wasn't able to get promoted because I didn't have a master's or I didn't have a certification, but yet I was able to do all their job, the same job as these other people. So I thought, maybe it's time that I carve my own path and make my own story. And I looked into other people that were starting a business. Around that time, my husband was in the military and he got run over by a Humvee. I told you I had stories, right?
Keep going.
So he got run over by a Humvee, becoming a caregiver on top of, raising my son and all these other things that were happening. And I thought, I'm going to continue down this path of starting my business because it's the misconception we were just talking about. Social media shows you the glamorous side and how easy it is. And you can work 4-day weeks and 6-hour days and travel the world in first class. That is so not the case.
Correct.
But I saw that there could be potential in it. I'm not the smartest person in the room, but I will work really hard to find a way to get it done, get the project done, get the need done. So I just kept going. I kept going. And then a couple of years into that, no, it was 6 months into my job at Cone. My husband got run over, and then I turned into a caregiver, and then the abuse started again. And that lasted for several years before divorce. Right. And that's another really bad story. And part of the divorce, he wanted to take the business from me.
Oh, no.
And so then it became out of principle that I was not going to give up.
Right.
So that's why it's been an 8-year battle.
Yeah. Okay. And so tell us about your business.
Sure. It's the business is called Work-Life Solutions Concierge. It started off as a concierge business. So how can I help busy people better manage their day, their time in their day? So it was like me helping you. And then as I navigated my own personal struggles, I reflected back on the usage, the client usage of the service. And I realized it's not just concierge. They were having me do corporate events, projects, and then relocation management. So as you mature in your business, you see these different values that you're bringing people. So right now we do a little bit of all three for our customers, but instead of focusing on just going after helping individuals, we're now partnering with businesses more than individuals.
And so, you know, you're going through all of this and growing the business. You have someone that wants to take it from you, which I'm sure is gut-wrenching when you know that you've built something that means a lot to you and is your identity. And you're a mom and you're a caregiver at that time. How did you manage it all? Because Work-Life Solutions, perfect name for what you've gone through and taking your experience and providing that to others. I mean, how did you manage it all? How did you find that work-life balance through it all?
Oh, I didn't.
Love it.
I did not. There was they called it a meditation room at the building that I worked at. But it was really for nursing mothers that they had a private space if they needed to nurse or any of that stuff. I would go into that room and cry. And there were days, because my son and I ended up getting locked out of the house. So we moved in with my parents. It was 40 minutes away from work. So there were days my son and I left the house at 6 a.m. and we didn't get home until 10 p.m. at night.
Right.
It was just really long days for us back then. But I would go into that room, cry, get it together, and then go into a meeting, go back in that room and cry. But I think that's all part of the struggle that men and women go through with surviving tragedy. And when you come out of it, you have this renewed sense of purpose. And that's when I was like, you know, again, I'm not going to stop at something that I believe in. And it really, the business is something that probably brought me more sense of purpose other than my son than anything at that time. I think it really helped me pull through.
And what did it feel like when you had your first client? Like you start your business and you have the first person that believes in what you're doing and signs on to work with you.
Yeah, that's something that I think about often.
Yeah.
So my first client, they're still with me 8 years later.
Amazing.
Yep. It's a dental firm and they took a chance on me. And I will never forget, I would do errands before work, during my lunch, and then after work, and of course on the weekends to work around my full-time job. And so they scheduled me to run a weekly errand every Wednesday. It's still on the calendar today. And I remember leaving to run out, thinking that I'm going to lunch, to do their weekly errand. And that sense of joy, it made me so proud that I was able to help someone, help a business. It was my first client. And I've hung on to every single compliment. She'll send me cards every once in a while. And when I'm having like a bad day or a bad week, I'll pull those cards out just to say, this is why I'm doing this.
Oh,
so she's amazing.
And how did you find them? Like, how did you go out and you're like, I'm going to start this business. How did you acquire clients?
It was networking. So I joined a Rotary Club in Greensboro and I was vetting. At the time, there was like 13 or 15 Rotary Clubs. So I was vetting which one worked around my schedule.
Sure.
It was a 7 a.m. breakfast club and I came in with homemade cookies for everyone in the room. And after the meeting, this guy comes running up to me and he's all disheveled and, you could tell he was in a hurry. And he said, I need to hire you for my business practice manager. She needs your help. And Guy is his name. And it just cracked me up just to see like this wild look in his face, like, I'm going to hire you. She needs you.
Yeah.
And so that's how I landed her. But the rest of my clients, no matter really what type of marketing I've done, it's always word of mouth referrals.
So powerful.
Like no trust.
Yes. And so what was the moment that you decided, okay, it's time for me to leave my full-time job and go all in on Work-Life Solutions?
That's a good question. I was working at the hospital, but through their venture capital firm. And there were some things that were happening that I couldn't align with. And so I thought, at that time I was generating revenue, actually turning a profit instead of paying the business. So that's a big turning point as a business owner. I was like, yes!
What a win.
I know. So I kind of reassessed everything in my life. I'd gotten through the divorce, bought a townhouse for my son and I, and had a growing number of clients coming. And I thought, I'll give myself 6 months to see if I can survive. And that was through the end of last year. So December was my mark. And it was hard.
Yes.
And, the cupboards were bare, but we did it. And so I thought, okay, I looked back and I had grown revenue by like 200%.
Amazing.
And I thought, okay, if that was what I did in 6 months, what can I do in a year? And in this past year, 2025, I think we grew at like 400%. So there's no turning back now.
No turning back. And I think, my first job out of college was at our local health care center. And I just, had this dream of climbing the corporate ladder, and I was doing it until I received the opportunity to help Joey grow the business here. And I think there's a misconception too, when people are working full time and they're starting their own business. Like, I'm so thankful for the experiences I received in corporate America. And it sounds like you are too, to learn so much about that, because without that, I don't know that I could be doing what I'm doing today. Do you feel that same way of getting that experience there?
100%. I mean, all the businesses that I've worked for, they've all been different. But with working at the hospital, they have all these development programs. And thankfully, my bosses allowed me to kind of support whatever I wanted to, which was great. So I was able to grow and really learn how to navigate large corporations with complex decision rights, and also grow as a female.
Correct.
Because so often, and no offense to you, we live in a male-dominated world, but yet women are the ones that are kind of running the back of the house.
Very true.
And they're very competitive.
Yes.
And women are not as supportive of one another as you would expect them
Unfortunately,
to be.
yeah.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's so bad.
And so that's one thing that I've always carried with me. All of us have had good jobs, bad jobs, good leaders, bad leaders. But those females that have supported me along the way, I will be forever grateful for their leadership, their guiding light, their kindness, all of the above.
Yeah. And, I love that you said that, because we don't talk about that enough on how it can truly be in the workplace when you have a bunch of different personalities, and, coming back to it and really understanding that everyone is going through things. And you talked about the highlight reel and the social media, and until you're actually in the organization and working alongside individuals, you don't realize how much they actually go through in their lives and the challenges that come with the world we live in today. It's just so wild to me. And I always have to continue to be grounded in that. Do you feel that same way as you navigate this business journey, helping so many businesses and people?
For sure. I, and my team, they call it my spidey sense. So working with people, and also my own personal struggles and experiences, typically when you know someone, and whether it's a peer, colleague, client, whatever, but if they're acting different, sometimes it'll grate my nerves, but then I always pause and think, are they struggling? And 9 times out of 10, when that thought pops into my mind, a couple days later, either they come to me or I will ask them, are you okay? You just seemed off. 9 times out of 10, they will say they had a rough day, something happened that caused them to not be themselves.
Yeah.
So being self-aware, I think, is critical for people's services in general.
Yeah. And so what do you love doing most in your business? We all have that one thing, like you said when you started, when you ran that Wednesday errand, it was just brought you so much joy. What is it that brings you so much joy today?
Knowing that I'm helping people. You know, it's most of my customers, they come to me very similar to my first customer. They're in a panic. They need additional help. They need someone that they know is accountable, responsible, trustworthy. And it doesn't matter if I'm packing up somebody's house or I'm running a major corporate event or I'm, putting together a Kahoot. It doesn't matter what the request is, but I know that I'm helping somebody that doesn't have enough time to do it.
So you're talking about relocation is a big one. And so take us through that, because that is a very stressful time in people's lives.
It is. And that's something that, again, it's a service that we've always offered. I just lumped everything into concierge, but now that it's grown, it's taking on its own unique trait. So relocation services, it could be you are moving out and you need decluttering and packing. And with our team, I make sure that I pack your stuff as I would pack my own things. It's so awful when somebody is moving in and we're unpacking and half of their belongings are damaged. So when we pack, we put extra love and attention to their products. But if they are coming into the area, because I'm a Northerner, I understand what it's like to assimilate into the Southern culture. And I moved here before Google was a thing. It was like, I don't even know if we had TomTom yet. We had maps, and I am a terrible map reader, and I would get lost all the time. And so when I would do onboarding for the hospital, that was part of my discussion is, you have so many people that are moving into the South. There is a cultural difference. There is a language barrier. The food's different, but you have to give it some time. And I guarantee you will love the South. I mean, it's sweet tea, biscuits, yes, ma'am. And all those traits are what makes us down here. And when you move away, like when I go back to Ohio to visit my family and somebody doesn't open the door for me, I'm like, rude. Like, I can't wait to get to North Carolina. But I love helping people come into the South. And one of my questions are, like, if they're an executive or a family, like, what did you move from that you need to replace or find something that will fill that void? Is it a grocery store? Is it a social club? Is it a neighborhood? What sports do your kids play? Let's find you a family that has other children in the same age, because if you can't connect, then you're probably not going to stay here, which then has the trickle-down effect to the businesses. So I look at like what WLS is like an umbrella, and then underneath the top is the business and their metrics. So productivity, recruitment, retention, burnout prevention. And then to impact that, we have our 3 services. And so if we can't help a company get their new hire assimilated into the community, then they're going to leave, which impacts revenue. So it's strategic, it's complex, but then what we do, I find to be very simple, but in a strong way.
Wow. And so tell us some of the things that you can help. Let's just start with individuals, because you help just a lot of individuals with daily tasks and whatever they need. So what are some of those services?
Well, if I were to look at our individual customer base right now, everyone is over 55.
Okay.
And we get a lot of people that either they're traveling a lot, they're executives, so handle this service at the house, oversee these contractors, dry cleaning.
Love that.
We have some seniors that don't drive. And so we do weekly wine pickup and deliveries for them.
Oh my gosh, what a dream.
It's really cute. Total Wine thinks that I have a wine problem. We do prescription drop-offs, post office runs, a lot of research. For for our businesses, engagement gifting is a big thing, because if your employees or your customers aren't engaged, then they're more likely to leave.
True.
And I think it's just nice for a boss to remember their staff in a variety of ways. Valentine's coming up.
Yes.
So we're doing a lot of Valentine gifting right now. But gifting is a year-round thing. And so the staff, they just appreciate that. And the business owners, they appreciate our services because they don't have to run out at 8:00 at night to do these things. They just know that it's going to be delivered. We're going to coordinate it. And they have a better peace of mind knowing that they have this like secret weapon on their side.
Yes. And so, what areas do you cover?
In terms of
and
location?
who you'll help? Yep. And like what locations do you cover?
Right now, living in Greensboro and Smith Mountain Lake, our service area is 2 hours.
Okay.
So in Greensboro, we can be pretty much throughout the state.
Yeah.
Charlotte, Raleigh, Martinsville, Danville, and then being at Smith, we reach Roanoke, we can do Lynchburg, we can be in South Boston.
Yes.
It's, the highway systems down here are so easy to get around. And when people, they're like, you drive where? Like it's a phone call away. Getting from Greensboro to Danville is 45 minutes.
Yeah.
That's an easy drive for me.
Yes.
But some people, they just find it's like in a different world.
And you've talked about we a lot. You've said we. So you have a team. Tell me about your team.
We have a team. So we have a team of up to 10. I have 3 girls that consistently help me right now, but we are growing. So if you're interested, call me.
Yeah.
We are growing, and I'm so very grateful to have their support. And, going back to women helping each other, I want to be as much of a mentor as I can to them. I don't necessarily look at myself as a boss. In fact, I don't like that term. We're all teammates. So when we work on projects, it's you're my teammate. I'm your teammate. We're doing this together. And yes, there's an A and a B, but let's work on something and create it together.
Yeah. And so you're looking for additional people to come help you grow this business. What do you look for, and what would that look like for them if they were to join your team?
Well, I look for somebody that's flexible and that is open to working for a startup, because it's bumpy. I'm not going to say it's smooth.
Yes.
There's still a lot that I'm learning along the way, but somebody that's eager, excited to learn, curious, creative, those soft skills. I can teach project management, but if you don't have somebody that's trustworthy or compassionate or just really understands the value of hard work, because remember, I started off like from the bottom.
Yeah.
Those are the skill sets that I really look for, the qualities, and everything else you can train someone on.
And so you have gone from really tough times to working full time, growing this business, taking the leap to go all in on this business. What does your life look like today?
Oh gosh, I don't have much of a life. In fact, my counselor and I were just talking about this.
Yeah.
I do support counseling. I've been in counseling since before the divorce. So 8 years now. And I'm at that point because I do miss, and I knew when I left my corporate job, I would miss having that built-in network of leadership and development, water cooler chats.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my dog in the morning. I mean, he's cute, but it's not like it's a two-way dialogue there.
Right.
My fiance moved to Nebraska and my son went to boarding school this year.
Wow.
So I'm a true empty nester. And I totally forgot my train of thought. What was the question again?
Yeah. What does your life look like today?
Okay. So with me being by myself, I work 7 days a week. So going back to like the whole social media thing, it is so not that. But you wear all the hats. So you get up some days at 4 a.m. And you are working at 4:15 a.m. And then you don't stop until literally you drop, which is 10 or 11 o'clock at night. You just go, go, go because you have to. And so my counselor and I were like, this isn't good. You're isolating. And so my goal for this year is to not be so isolating.
Okay.
Maybe
and
schedule me time.
Yes. And how do you take care of yourself?
I have a golf pro that I've been working with.
Amazing.
And I'm very inconsistent with my lessons, but I can hit a ball straight. And so I said, I'm going to renew my golf lessons at least once a month and then hit 9 holes at least once a month.
I love that.
I know it's not a lot, but it's baby steps. And then maybe schedule a dinner out with some friends.
Yeah. And so going into this year, what are your goals for Work-Life Solutions?
My goals are to continue growing, continue busting my ass.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you'll grow. It's not like anything is just handed to you.
You're so right.
Work really hard, be a good person. And in terms of the business itself, I see a huge amount of interest in both corporate events and relocation management. So those are the 2 areas that I'm just driving hard right now. Because again, it's very different. And when they hear about what I do, they're like, how do you connect that? I'm like, well, if you go back to the umbrella, like that's how I connect it. But the other thought is if you are hitting tough times, like I've had a lot of friends that were consultants or had DEI businesses. And with all that's happened recently, they went into bankruptcy because they have no more business.
Wow.
And so at least with having these different areas that I can flex in and out of and kind of grow separately, but at the same time that I'm hoping long term, then it will be still sustainable. Like no matter what happens in the economy or what contracts might fall through because of government funding, at least there's some other area of the business that can keep the lights on.
I feel like you're keeping the business so versatile too, though. I mean, helping individuals and helping businesses, it really opens you up to having a sustainable business because people need help. And I feel like in the world we live in today, we've lost a lot of support systems. There's not a support system like there used to be. And I've talked to so many people that feel like they don't have that. And so I just think you have something really great going on that you are really becoming the support system to so many people, and it's been lacking. So thank you for what you're building.
Thanks. You gave me anxiety though. So I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh God, that makes me really scared.
No, it should make you excited because I feel like there are so many people that need your services. And I really am so happy that our paths have crossed because you're amazing and you're doing amazing things. So thank you for what you're doing for your community.
Well, thank you. And thanks, Carol, for connecting us.
I know. Carol is the one that connected us. And I just appreciate her so much for sending me so many great people because we didn't know each other prior to this. Today is the first time we've met in person. So,
but I feel like I've known you for a long time.
It does feel like that. And so many things that you're saying I'm so aligned with because growing a business is very hard. And if it was easy, everyone would do it. And I always say there are more hard days than good. And you have to really hang on to those good days and celebrate them because you don't know when the next one will come.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I say that all the time. Those wins carry me through the dark days. And whenever I'm ready to give up, and the last time was, I don't know, probably 4 months ago, I'm like, what am I doing? You know, I'm like saying my prayers to God and crying and, you know, pulling myself together. And I opened up my door to leave for an appointment and there was $3 on the ground in front of my house. And I'm like, okay, this is my sign. Don't
Keep
quit.
going.
Don't quit. So it's little things like that. Or, you know, I mentioned the card from my very first client. She gives me cards at least twice a year. I'll get a card from her. And those kind words that she says to me, like they just, it just makes me so proud to know that she sees the value in a different way. You know? Again, going back to like kindness and gratitude, those are the things that keep you going.
They definitely do. And I say that too all the time. It's like when I have a bad day, I may go in my room and say I'm going to quit. But what do? I go to sleep. I wake up, I get ready, and I do it all over again. Yeah. And that's what you have to do. It's constantly picking yourself back up, and it sounds like you do that. And I'm super thrilled to follow your journey and hopefully work together because it sounds like you do a lot of things that I need help with and you provide those services. So we'll definitely talk further on that. But if anyone is watching right now and they want to learn more or reach out to you and get your help, how can they find you and reach out to you?
Sure. You can call me. My phone number is 336-561-1152.
And I'll link that. Yep.
You can reach out via email. You You can follow me on social. The website is WLSconcierge.com, and I'm more active on Instagram and LinkedIn than I am on Facebook, but all the places. And if you even just want to connect for networking, or we should totally schedule dinner, and I can tell my counselor that I'm doing what
let's do it. And this is her first time in South Boston. So, I mean, let's make sure that she's a regular here and we'll go out to dinner here.
I love that. But reach out. Even if it's just a curiosity question, I'm always open.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for spending time with us today. I've really appreciated getting to know you. I'm excited to get to know you further. I hope everyone that's watching and listening enjoyed this as much as I did. I mean, truly a phenomenal human being, building a phenomenal business. If you need her services, everything is linked above. So feel free to reach out and keep sending me great recommendations, because I'm just honored to sit here with each person that sits in this seat. And I hope that you are enjoying it just as much as I am. We are going to talk to you next week. Bye.